live?
It's live.
Okay.
It's alive.
We are live. Hi, everybody. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, today Rahdo runs through a ramble, or rambles through a Q&A. You know what? I should have shut the door.
I think that would have been a good idea.
Yeah.
We've got this nice soundproof room now, and it's more soundproof if you shut the door.
It's not soundproofed.
It's sound...
treated? Dampened? I'm not sure what the word is, but not soundproof. But anyway, here we are, and... Nope, and there's the sound coming through there. So that's going to be a nice... let's go ahead and get that quieted down. There we go.
Thing.
All right.
All right.
Excellent. It's working. And is anybody even watching? Of course, this is going to be a much, much, much smaller turnout than we normally get, since this is only...
It looks like we're not even there.
For, oh yeah. Why is that? That's the preview? Oh,
it says it's live.
That's weird. I don't know. Or that's just not playing, I guess. But I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to leave it alone. Okay. Because I can see on the phone, as you can see, we are going.
Okay.
It's working. There you are, honey pie.
Yep. Having some tea.
No one has said hello yet, even though 6 people are watching.
Oh.
But they're all very quiet and shy. And that's okay. We're here to answer questions. Folks, this is my monthly ramble for Patreon backers, and Jen and I are here to answer any of your questions. I see we're now up to a whopping 10 people. Woohoo! Yeah, a bit of a drop. And so, by all means, start asking questions. Although, before we get to that, a bunch of people have already submitted questions. A bunch of questions. We could probably spend the next hour just answering all these questions that came in via email and post on the Patreon page, and not even take any live questions. And so far, everybody is still being very, very quiet.
Aw, don't be shy.
It's okay. Say hi, everybody. Unless, have I failed somehow? Oh, wait, no. Okay, there.
Oh,
all right.
Oh.
Sin Trader said, Wahoo, sounds good. Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Well, Sin, it's just you and us then. We're just going to direct everything at you, since you're the only person with the cojones to actually say hello.
Oh.
We're very nice today. So, Honey Pie, you ready to just get right to the questions?
Yeah.
Starting with this one from Marin. Alrighty. This is a whole bunch of questions, it looks like.
Okay, so actually I'm not sure, because normally we do this on the podcast. Are we going to answer these again for the podcast?
No. It's a whole bunch of different questions for the podcast,
right.
Which we probably need to record sometime this week, since we're like 2 weeks late on that.
Okay.
Yes. Maybe some of these will be repeated. I'm sure some of these will be repeated in the podcast. But the podcast can be heard by anybody. This is only for backers.
Yes. Well,
so
maybe we should check and see if Sin Trader had any...
Sinbad?
Sinbad, the Sin Trader.
Uh-huh.
Has any questions?
Nope.
Nope.
Nothing.
Okay.
Everybody's cool. All right. C'est la vie.
So these are questions that were mailed in by your backers then?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Let's
do it.
So Marin asks, how do we like the new home and the area that we've moved to? Ooh. Honey Pie, how do we like the home and area that we've moved to?
We really like the area we've moved to. It's very pretty here. It's very green, which is different from Malta, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been a nice change. And our house is getting better every day. It's mainly, just that there are boxes still around and stuff has not found its new home. And so there's a bit of chaos still. But like I said, everything's getting done. It's just... taking time.
All right.
How about you?
It's great. Yeah, I think... I mean, it's not the nicest home in the universe, because it is a manufactured home, but it's so perfectly suited to our needs.
Yeah.
I mean, your studio and this room that we're in now for filming,
and the game room is really nice.
Yeah, in the game room, we just played some Century Sand to Sea this morning. That was actually very, very good. And,
so, in general, it's good. It's just not as solid a house as we've been living in stone houses for the last 15 years. And so, when, he weighs a little bit more than I do, but you walk across in the living room.
Are you serious?
Things rattle a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, or when Gert jumps off the couch, sometimes, depending on how I've got the glasses in the kitchen, there's sometimes a little bit of a rattle.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's just not as a solid house like we've been living in.
For our entire adult lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a little different, but roof over our head, nothing leaks. We're dry, we're warm, we're safe.
Yep. There's plenty of room for all three of us, which was obviously a huge concern when we were moving, because the first time anybody's lived with us since our 20s.
Yeah.
When I had a cavalcade of all my high school friends come and live with us at any given time for 6 months.
Yep. And my sister lived with us for 6 months.
That's true. That's true. And my brother. So yeah. So, but that it's definitely roomy enough. What about the neighborhood?
The neighborhood seems pretty good on the whole.
Our immediate next door neighbor, who is literally 10 feet away from the right side of this wall, he is in a Creedence Clearwater Revival cover band. I think he's the singer, and I'm sure he plays instruments as well. And they practice every Thursday night.
Yep.
And it gets quite loud.
Oh, but it's lovely.
But they are really good.
They're good.
That's the thing. I mean, it's not so bad. I was worried, but it turns out they're really, really good. So that turned out to be not an issue. There's a really wonderful wooded trail that's 2-minute walk away, which is nice. Jen and I have been jogging on that, although she's getting bored with it now. I would rather just keep on doing that and keep things simple, but she has issues with that.
Oddly, because he's usually the one that likes to have new and cool stuff, and I'm usually the one that wants to do the same.
No
old,
need
same
for new and cool stuff when you're jogging. It's just head down, nose to the grindstone, get through it as fast as possible.
Not really. It's nice to enjoy where you are and see what you're seeing and be where you are.
Okay.
Oh, look, there's lots of people now. Hello, everybody.
People have started to arrive. We're up to 20 people, which, I mean, by this time, I think on a normal live, we'd probably be up to around 100. Early on, and we maybe crested maybe around 200 on a normal live.
Do you see this tea cauldron? Yes.
Yeah, Jen does like her tea cauldron.
I do like really big mugs, and I bought this one when we moved here because I didn't have a big enough mug at his mom's house, and
all our stuff is still in transit.
Yeah, so
forever.
I have to say it's really good because it's I can just throw it on the stove and it warms back up because it's copper. But now I've got my ceramic ones as well, so I've been using those, but today you get the copper one.
All right.
Right.
We spent forever on that first question. We should probably move on to the second question.
Well, there's some questions here. Are we going to just come and do all these questions at the end?
I don't know. We'll let those build up. Let's get through these first. I mean, because these people asked yesterday, so they're ahead in the queue.
Okay.
All righty. Do we miss Malta, the UK, and Europe?
Yes. In lots of ways.
All right. Yes. For Jen. Me, no. Not particularly. I'm wherever I'm living is fine. I moved around a lot growing up, living on a boat and all that, so I'm used to being a bit of a rambler and the longest I've ever been in one place is 5 years, and we've always moved on. So it's no big deal to me. Yeah, there's things that were kind of nice, but there's lots of conveniences to living in America.
That's true.
So many conveniences. So yeah, I'm not particularly bothered. Has it been a big change to return to the U.S.? Yes.
Yeah. You go.
Has been a big change. Well, yeah, of course. Obviously, it was a huge, tumultuous thing, and it continues to be tumultuous. Roughly 5% of our personal belongings have been lost forever now. They're just gone.
Yep.
Because we put them in the moving van, and they did not show up here. So, and there were some really important items in there. Really kind of sad to see that go, and we're now doing battle with the insurance company for them to actually make good, because all that stuff was insured, and so far they're digging in their heels, so that'll be exciting and fun. But yeah, it's just such a massive change. I mean, yesterday we spent a good deal of time driving around to local farms, doing tours to pick the place where we will, from now on, buy cows by the cow load. We are going to buy an entire cow.
I think we're going to go with a half a cow, so that we have room for a lamb.
Apparently, a full lamb and a half a cow.
Yeah.
That's not something you do living in Europe. You don't buy food by the animal.
No.
So that's just one weird little thing that is very, very different.
But we're excited about
America.
it because these are pasture grazed animals. Lived happy lives on the farm. We toured the farms now. We see where they are, how they've been living. It's exciting to know that they had a good life, and then they'll nourish us, and hopefully the cycle will continue.
Indeed. What are the advantages and disadvantages of living in your new home in comparison to what life was used to be like? I mean, what advantages too many to list?
Mainly convenience.
The advantage of living
Amazon
in
Prime.
America. Amazon Prime. Every store open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We can get anything we want, anytime we want, any day, any night.
Yeah.
365 days a year.
There's
as opposed to...
amazing supply of ice cream.
Well, why don't you schedule to come in next Thursday afternoon and we'll talk to you about maybe ordering the part you need and it'll get here in a month.
Yeah.
That's the life we're used to living, as opposed to, all right, let's just go down to Dave's Hardware and there it is.
Yep.
And there's 5 other ones. And by the way, they're a fraction of the cost they would have been living on Malta.
I mean, when I'd had car problems on Malta, my car would be out for a month very easily.
Yeah, easily.
Because they had to get the part, then the car had to come, and then it was on Malta, then I had to get to Gozo, then, So, yeah, this is nice. We left the Prius light on, and so we went out one morning and it was dead.
Oh, we bought a Prius, by the way.
Yes, we had to have a car, so we bought a Prius. And, within 60 minutes, I've called the insurance company, the emergency tow guy has come out, he's given me a jump. Done.
Yeah. Yep.
And, I mean, that's a simple thing, but still, I mean, it's a contrast.
Yeah, hugely. Disadvantages. There's just one. Healthcare. Absolutely, it's ridiculous. We have not signed up for healthcare yet, even though we should. We're just living every day like it's our last.
Yeah, living on the edge.
Yeah, which I'm sure a lot of Americans are. Because we came in between, so we're not required by the mandate. And of course, by the time we would have been required, the mandate's gone. So it's going to be even worse for we don't have to get into healthcare.gov in case there's some Republicans listening. Don't want to be insulting or anything like that. Just suffice to say, we desperately miss our socialized medicine so very, very much. But that's the only downside, right? What else? What disadvantages does living in America offer over Europe?
I don't know. I think there's just a slightly different attitude.
Well, sure, there's cultural differences. Aplenty.
Yeah.
To be sure.
But I don't know if that's a disadvantage. It's just something different,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, actual disadvantages to our quality of life, it's just the healthcare. That's the only one. Or at least that we've run into so far. Maybe we'll run afoul of other issues later on. But so far, it's been easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Will you be hosting larger gaming get-togethers in the future, or remain mainly 2-player focused as before? The latter. We are just... I've ruined her. I've always been an antisocial hermit, more than happy to live in my cave and just poke my head out every once in a while just to collect the essentials. And Jen has become more and more like that over the years.
Yeah.
You used to be very social and outgoing. And let's go. I mean, you at one point in your life actually went clubbing and such.
I wouldn't say clubbed, but I was definitely more social than you were.
Indeed.
But we've lived a fairly hermetic life on Malta for the last 6 years or so. So I think it's a little hard to kind of get back into the swing of, and I think also we're just tired. I mean, we've been on the move since March, I think, and just tired. So.
That is true. Let's see here. Has it always been your guys' plan to return to the U.S. someday?
I think we did intend to come back because parents get older and we've only got so much time. So yes, it was a thought that we would return. But as far as staying, I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think we'll probably go back to England.
Oh yeah, eventually. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
this is not the final destination, right?
As far as I know.
Yeah.
No, I don't intend to spend the rest of my life in this house. It's a nice enough house and everything. It's just, no. Well, and we're just heading into the rainy season, so we'll see. It's been raining the last couple days. Yeah. Well, I mean, but we lived in Seattle for years. I mean, and we lived in England for years. It was never a problem. It was never a problem for me anyway. Yeah, well, England's different from Seattle because the weather systems flow over. Seattle, and I think here it's going to be gray for weeks and or months at a time, and that might be the problem. But you just stay inside where it's hugely. Yes, and there's fabulous lighting. There you go. Yeah, you just stay in this room. Alrighty, it's always bright in here. I think I'll just be perched over the torch, my own little personal sun. There you go. Alrighty. Are we going to be able to continue our life as it used to be in Malta? Will we be keeping chickens in the backyard? No chickens, unfortunately. There are homeowner association rules in the small community that we are in, unfortunately. That was Jen's first question, and she got a resounding no. Yep. So, no chickens, but
I don't know. I don't know if there's any other.
I
mean, I guess that was another disadvantage, but that's not an American thing. That's just this particular location.
We could have moved somewhere else that had a less nice studio and more room for chickens, I suppose. But no, I mean, I think we have more or less gotten a little bit back on track with our normal lives. There's boxes around and stuff, so there still needs to be some attention given to that. But I've been up in my studio several days since my new Oxycons arrived. There's been other things, though, that we've had to be out of the house, medical appointments and stuff for his mom mostly.
Oh my God! So many medical appointments.
Yeah.
It's probably like I'm driving her into the local clinics 3 or 4 times a week at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully it'll calm down a bit. We're hoping. My mom, she's been an avid driver all her life. She was a big haul trucker, but she hasn't driven since her van broke down in January, and she's totally lost all of her confidence for driving.
Yeah. And also the Prius is an partially electric car, but
which she's afraid of for some reason.
She's a little bit freaked out by. Yeah.
Because of the space-aged console it has. Although it's a 2010, so it's not that space-aged. And I keep telling Mom, you can just ignore all of that. It's just an automatic from your perspective. But yeah, hopefully she will get her confidence back. Every time I drive her, I say, Mom, is today the day you want to drive? We'll take all the back roads. We don't have to get on the freeway or anything. And hopefully she wants to. She definitely wants to. I mean, it's one of her favorite joys in life is driving. So we just need to give it time because she was pretty much at death's door by the time we got here, and so she is getting better, and that's why we're here.
Yep.
Alrighty. Why did you choose to decorate your new gaming room all black? Did you not like the lovely white, beige, gray decor in Malta? Did you think it was somehow inconvenient for filming? Contrast-wise, I'll be honest. This is her. This is all her. I mean, I knew I wanted to get shelves. And there was either natural wood or white or black. And my inclination was to get white, like we had in Malta. And Jen said, no, you should get all black.
Yeah, let's go sophisticated.
And yeah, sophisticated was the term she used.
Yep.
So, honey, so the question is to you. Why did you choose to decorate all in black?
I just thought it would look cool. And an obvious difference between, before and now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just, moving on, trying something new.
Yeah, it's not just the shelves as well. We actually bought some black curtain stuff and are hanging it from the back, so that if the games come out, you can see that there's just blackness. It's all black.
It's black. Yep. And then he decided on purple and black for his sound.
No, actually, Ron decided that.
Ron did?
Yes. Jen's brother-in-law, our first few days here, he drove up some of our stuff from California, and he stayed and helped us immeasurably with some of the work that had to be done to the house, because there were elements that were literally falling apart. And apparently he and his kids watch the show occasionally, and when I was showing, I was going to try and do this soundproofing thing, and I'm trying to figure out which, and he looked at all the colors, and you should totally do the purple and black. And I'm like, okay, whatever you say goes, Ron. It's the least I can do. It's one small way I can repay you if you want to see purple and black in the background occasionally. So, although, I mean, currently you don't really see that at all in the videos, so it hardly matters. Yeah, my inclination would have been to go for all white, but Jen wanted to go all black because she likes new and different things. Will you be buying a Geek and Son table now that you'll no longer, quote, have to move again in the future? No, because they're expensive when it boils right down to it. I'd love to have one because we definitely enjoyed the 2 that we've had in the past, and they've always talked about how, hey, Rahdo, we'll send you a final one, and we contacted them when we finally found out where we were going and what the size of the room was. And at first they were, yeah, okay, we'll start talking about what you want to do, and I made some suggestions, and then I think they just got really busy, and they never got back to us. And we're like, I was never that comfortable with them giving me one for free anyway. I've always been very uncomfortable. I don't accept payment for any of the videos I do. And, after I'm done filming a game that a reviewer sends me, I end up with the game. But that's one thing. Getting an entire table for free, I always felt a little... So, the fact that they weren't jumping on it made me think, oh, okay, cool, no problem. And so this table we're sitting at right now, we bought for, I don't know, $40 or $50.
Yeah.
And the one we bought in our game room, if you probably saw the ramble I did last month where we ran through the house. We bought that full set of chairs and table because they're patio furniture for like $250 or something like that. And so, we've been like crazy trying to keep our costs down because it was so insanely expensive to move here.
Yeah.
We had to buy a car and we had to do a bunch of so no. I would love to have one, but I'm very, very happy with what I've got. Also, it's weird. Here's a huge change in our lives. In our day to day, we spend a lot of time at Goodwills and Salvation Armies and whatnot now.
We have made a bunch of trips because there's been just little things that we've decided we needed.
Yeah.
And so.
But that's not something we ever did in Europe, and I'm not quite sure why. In Malta there weren't really any charity shops of note. When you went into them, there was nothing.
Yeah, it was lots of kids' clothes and stuff like
that. And I guess when we lived in England, I was still working full time, and making the big lion head bucks.
Well,
so
I think it's different, the furniture thing versus like clothing or whatever or knickknacks or whatever you might find.
Well, no. But I'm talking.
We were looking for furniture though here.
Well, no, but yeah,
like the big tables for my studio.
When we moved to Texas. At no point did we say, hey, let's go down and try and find furniture at the Goodwill.
That is true, but that was a very exceptional thing. I'd always had the hand-me-down furniture for my family, some of which my dad had made, actually. And when we bought the house in Austin, that was sort of my opportunity to furnish my house for myself, basically. And so he had a really good job there. We had enough money. And actually, I went a little bit bonkers and bought new furniture, basically for the whole house. In Austin, and we took a lot of that with us when we moved to England, and some of it actually went and stayed in storage at my sister's house, so we're now enjoying it here again.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, so no, we wouldn't have gone to a thrift store in Austin because I had just spent however many thousands on furnishing the house.
Yeah.
But we had a huge Texas house. By our standards, it was huge.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's just I don't think it's something. We never really did much in the way of buying used stuff at all until, as part of this move back, we stayed in England for a few months because we had to totally refurnish our house in England to turn it into student dwelling, or student apartments, basically. So we had to buy a bunch of beds and a bunch of desks and some other
Wardrobes
stuff.
And things.
And that would have been hugely expensive. So that's when we started hitting Free Cycle, and we ended up furnishing the entire place almost entirely for free. And after that has continued. Now that we've come back here, we're on Free Cycle all the time, and we're hitting all the local charity shops. This jacket, pretty much everything except for this Rahdo shirt that I am wearing, the socks I'm wearing, we've got at a local Goodwill. And it's just, I don't know.
Well, part of that, too, is that there is such a plethora of great stuff.
That's the thing, yeah. You don't find that in Europe.
No.
Every Goodwill we've gone into, and we've gone into like a dozen since we've been back here, we've just found there hasn't been one where we haven't found something that was useful or something that we could use. That was not the case on the odd chance we would go into a charity shop in England.
Well, I have to say, though, I did go to charity shops in England because I love cashmere sweaters, and I would oftentimes find a really lovely cashmere sweater for a $5 or something.
Yeah.
And then I can wear them in the studio. I don't have to worry about if I burn them or something.
I don't know. So I suppose maybe Jen was on that train a bit, but for me it's been really transformative. And it's funny, growing up, I come from a very poor family, and growing up all of our clothes shopping and whatnot was at charity shops and whatnot. And I always hated it. As a kid, I always felt kind of grungy and dirty. And I think back in the 70s it was more grungy and dirty.
Probably, yeah.
And so I've always had this kind of hang up about it, but now we're doing it. It feels so good. It feels wonderful to repurpose stuff rather than just buy new stuff. I think maybe there's kind of like a slight, there's still kind of a European, slightly anti-consumeristic tendency, or something that it feels good to reuse something rather than buy something new. And so I'm all on board. Every time, hey, let's stop in there and see what we can find. That's been a huge change. And like I said, in large part, it's because America is such a ridiculous land of excess and consumerism, and people are constantly buying things and getting rid of old things to make room for all the new things they're buying. And there's just so much good stuff at your local Goodwill. It's amazing. It's been literally transformative. Let's see here. Will you be focusing on the U.S. from now on, or will you go back to Essen in October? Honey, are we going to Essen in October?
Okay, I think I have decided that officially we are not going to go to Essen this year. You've heard it here first, folks. You are right there on the leading edge of our decisions.
So that's it.
Yep. And we've just been traveling since March, essentially, and I'm just feeling like it'd be nice to be here.
All right.
However, I have made arrangements with a lovely lady. Her name's Gabby, and she's going to take some glass over to Essen for me, and you can get it at the Second Gate Games stand.
Okay.
It'll be distributed out of there, so you just...
you don't know what hall or anything. I mean,
I don't know
this isn't like a full official announcement or anything.
No, I'm just mentioning it because I'll be making a full announcement probably Monday with the hows and the whys and everything. But we've just kind of decided, and neither of us feel like traveling right now.
I mean, there's lots of reasons I would like to go.
But there's lots
and in
of
fact,
stuff.
arguably, we're throwing money away by not going because we have that one-way ticket.
Yeah.
Because it turns out when we flew to America, it was cheaper to buy a round-trip ticket than a one-way ticket. So we have a ticket going back to England the week before Essen, and the plan was, we do that, we check out how things are going in England, and then come over to Germany. And I mean, it's still worth doing because the amount of money Jen would make for selling her wares for 4 days will dwarf how much it would cost. I mean, you won't turn as much of a profit as you have in the past, but you'll still turn a big profit.
Yeah.
But we're just too tired.
We're old and tired.
And I mean, and not necessarily crazy. I mean, because it would be the such thing, we'd be gone for 2 weeks. Not crazy about leaving my mom alone for 2 weeks. I mean, she'd be totally fine and all that, but she can't drive yet, and so it's looking very less and less likely by the day, basically.
Yeah.
So sorry, everybody. All right, that was one person. We need to pick up that pace. We're a half an hour in.
Oh my goodness.
Good job, Marin. Okay, sorry, folks, we're done. That was just Marin's question. Let's move on to Maria, who has some questions. Do I follow any method to sort the games on my new shelves or just whatever fits there? Literally, these were just all thrown up practically randomly. I wanted to get the background full of stuff, so whatever boxes I opened in whatever order, whatever games were next to each other in the boxes, that's just how they went up randomly. There's no rhyme or reason whatsoever, other than a continuation of what was there before. Like there's a bunch of train games. I think that's because they were close to each other before. And I think here's some Queen games because they were close to each other before. Eventually, once everything else is done, I mean, half of my games are still in boxes right off camera, right over there, and there's a few over there as well. I will get everything else unpacked, but honestly, probably about 20% of these shelves are just completely empty or just have random stuff thrown in because you can't see them off camera. If the camera would pan down a little bit or up a little bit, you'd see it's just what you can see that looks nice. Everything else is a mess. But ultimately, the method will be I like to put like-size boxes from the same designer, and if not the same designer, the same publisher next to each other. That's about the extent of it. That's why all the Queen games are next to each other. That's why all the Stefan Feld games tend to go next to each other, etc., etc. Do you have any regrets on some games that did not make the cut for the move when we were packing up?
She wants to know if you're going to pick them up because.
Oh, am I going to pick them up?
The ones you got rid of.
Oh, geez, probably. But I mean, every single game I got, if you go to gone.rahdo.com, http://gone.rahdo.com, that's a list of every game we've ever had that we got rid of. And I think you can sort by reason, and then you'll see a big block of around 150 games that the only reason we got rid of them was international move. If I were to look at that list right now, I would confirm we loved every one of those games and didn't want to get rid of any of them. Just had to get rid of some.
Didn't you pick one up at the Guardian Games garage sale?
Yes, actually. Oh, what was that? That was Spirium. Spirium I would not have gotten rid of. It's just that Mark wanted it so bad before we left Malta, and he couldn't find it.
Yep.
And so, okay, Mark, you can take my Spirium, which sounds kind of dirty. And then at the garage sale, there was a used copy, or no, it was new in shrink, and I got it for $5, maybe $10. I don't remember. So I guess that would be an example of one that I've repicked up. But I don't think the reality is there's no reason to chase them because I could get them, but we'll never play them. There's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games right there, just off camera. We got to play those, and then after that, there's 7 more, and then there's 7 more. So we never get to go back and visit. I mean, maybe someday when I retire, I'll go back and get some of those that were lost. But I'm like a shark. I'm moving forward. I gotta keep swimming to breathe. So there's no time to look back. Always moving forward. Did you finish Detective, and what were your thoughts on it? Hey, Honey Pie, what were your thoughts on Detective? We tried playing it like 2 weeks ago. It was I read you a bunch of stuff, and we could go to the morgue, or we could.
Oh, right.
Yeah, what were your thoughts, honey?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just had no mental space for it. I just couldn't be bothered.
We watched 2 episodes of Castle every night because she finished Lucifer and now she's on a castle jag, I guess. But yeah, when called upon to actually do the investigating herself, she couldn't do it. She couldn't do it. So we have it. I'm looking forward to spending some more time with it. I'm very excited about it, but we did not get far enough to where I could even fire up the web browser to look up cool things. Actually, no, that's not true. Right off the bat, you had some things you could go and do research on, and just like, research?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're making me work too hard. I'm tired.
All I can do is push cubes. That's all I got. So I'm excited to try it, but we need to get some more energy. Any dexterity games that you like for 2 players, other than flicking games, since Maria doesn't like those. Those are the only dexterity games we play, I think. What else is there besides flicking? There's stacking. I think the only stacking game we've ever played was that Circus Meeple one. Remember we played that?
Yeah.
That was nice.
That was nice.
But, I mean, would we want to own it?
No.
Yeah, I mean, that was just... I mean, the dexterity games are party games. It doesn't really make much sense to play as a 2-player game because just 2 people, woohoo, yeah! You know, you need to have a group of people to really kind of elevate the experience.
And or be intoxicated.
Or, yes.
To add that additional element of...
a fun factor. So, I don't know, I mean, flicking games really are it. And only, like, the heavier flicking games. So, none more. Alrighty. Does the genre appeal? Well, I guess... No, I mean...
Oh, she recently played Minara. What's that?
I don't know. Apparently it's a dexterity game that she thought played 5 and 2. Probably I've dismissed it out of hand. But I'll have to go look at it. Menara. I'm not familiar with that one. Are there any mobile versions of games that we enjoy playing solo? Maria really enjoys Gone Shown Clever. Nah. I think if I were to look, the only games on this phone are apps to supplement games. I think that's true. Yep, I've got the Renegade app, the Gloomhaven app, and a Keep Score app. That's it. I just don't keep them. Every once in a while I try them, but it just don't. Time spent playing on the phone, it should be time spent reading rules so I can play with her so I can film for you. That is my life. Right. Moving on to Steve, who wonders, what are the Essen plans? Honey pie? Would you like to... Well, we already talked about it. Yeah. Right. Oh, also wants to know if I have any details for Dice Tower Con West in 2019.
Yay! I'm excited.
I have no idea. Tom contacted me out of the blue and said, hey, would you be interested in doing that? And I said, sure, sounds like fun. And he said, okay, cool. And I said, could Jen have a table to sell her stuff? And they talked about Forbidden. They said, yeah, okay, cool. And that's as far as we've gone. You haven't heard anything since, right?
No, they were going to work on some details and let me know. But, yeah. I mean, it's months and months and months.
Yeah, it's like March, I think, next year in Vegas. So, yeah, that's all we got, Steve, at this point. I have no insider information, although you'd think I would, seeing as how I'm a featured guest, as is Jen. Alrighty, Bob wonders, now that we're stateside, any plan to attend conventions and other board game-related events, regionally or nationally? Would love a chance to say thank you in person sometime. Aww. Thank you, Bob and Mandy. We just mentioned we will be at Dice Tower Con West in March of next year, although as I understand it, maybe it's sold out, or I think they've opened up more tickets. I'm not quite sure.
They definitely opened up a second round of tickets.
But have they sold out? Or
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. So we'll be at that. Basically, we will be at any convention that the convention goers want to invite us to. And they want to pay for us to fly there because it's expensive to fly. And we are cheap people. We are cheapy peepees, in case you are a Dan Harmontown fan there. I'm totally a cheapy peepee, which means nothing probably to the vast majority of people.
I'm more peepee. I like peeps.
Yes. Do you really like marshmallow peeps?
No, I like chickens.
Yes. So I mean, shut up the Shucks SHUX. They actually said, hey, we'd love to have you come. But no, we're not going to pay to fly you up and set you up. I'm like, oh, okay, well then I'm not going to come. That's really what it boils right down to. And so, I don't know, maybe... Well, I've already done Gen Con. I've filmed it. I feel like if it's something I'm going to go to, it should be something I haven't done before so that I can film it for you guys. And I have done Gen Con, and I've done Gamma. I will now be doing a Dice Tower event. I mean, I'd love to do the shut up and sit down thing, but yeah, it's just... Oh, there's a... Are you going to do that Gamer Girl thing?
Oh,
in Seattle?
Geek Girl.
Geek Girl?
Con.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably not because I'm tired.
So, just as tired?
Yeah.
Right. So we don't have any plans. Maybe next year we'll go to. I feel like I should go to Origins because now that I'm here, I should. I know I should go to Gen Con next year, but that's so far in the future. I have to admit, my natural inclination is to not want to go to these things. As nice as it is to meet everybody and talk to publishers and see all the latest cool stuff, I'm also very happy just to stay home and play games with her. And you would be too if you got to play games with her.
Aww.
And lose every time.
Oh, you won this. We just tied. We just tied on that.
That's the best I could pull off was a tie. I did tie her this morning in the Century Spice Road Eastern Wonders thing. But that's after she crushed me yesterday in Coimbra. Destroyed me, which is my lot in life. Alrighty. Oh, Bob and Mandy are back. We all have games in our top 10 that for some reason or other don't seem to make it to the table too often despite being great. What are your all-time top 3 games that are also the most played? Given that they're constantly playing new games, what would carve out time amongst them? There's not going to be any. But you're in luck, Bob and Mandy. I actually covered this in a top 10 probably 4 or 5 months ago. What was it? Top 10 most played games. And some of them on that list were because we played a ton of it before I started doing Rahdo runs through. But there were several of them on there that made our top 10 that, we have been playing. I mean, I know the number 1 is Gloomhaven. And we have not played Gloomhaven for almost a year now, I think, which is very sad, because we'd definitely like to get back to it.
Has it been that long?
Yes, I know. Well, it's all your fault. Because we were in it. We were every weekend. We were playing a game, and then you went off and did something, and we came back. Oh, it just stopped happening. Oh. Very sad. But anyway, you can go check out that top 10 most played games. It's exactly what you're looking for. Jarrett asks, what are some of my favorite player boards? Jarrett, you're in luck. Just 2 months ago, I did 2 top 10s. Top 10 boards for aesthetic and top 10 boards for functionality. Also, you mentioned games you both enjoy typically involve taking the role of logistics, planning, and management. I tend to fall into that camp myself for whatever reason. I find optimizing paths to points and putting... Oh, shoot, it's not all here. I have to go to the Patreon page. We haven't even gotten to the live questions.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, man. So many good questions were posted. All right, now I got to come over to Patreon. Look at me all pointing and gesticulating madly.
Mad.
Alrighty. Let's see. I got to come over here to the posts to see the rest of Jarrett's question, because I'm sure there's a question here, because I didn't realize these email notices. I get an email notice every time anybody posts anything on the Patreon page. I thought that would be good enough. I didn't realize it truncated stuff. So let's find Jarrett. No, I don't need to look up Carrie. Carrie, that's very nice. Hi. Come on. You can do it, computer. Load more comments. This is very exciting for everybody to watch. Jarrett. All right, here it is. Focus.
I feel like the player boards help me maintain level.
Plus, with some quick glance, you can see what your opponent's doing. There's no question in there, Jarrett. Jarrett's just trying to tell the world about himself.
Oh.
But I'll try and turn his statement of fact into a question. Let's see. Also, you mentioned the games you both typically enjoy involve taking the role of logistics, planning, and management? All right, it's a question. Would you like to confirm Jarrett's newly formed question?
That sounds great.
Do you have any observations as to why that is the case, honey? Why? I mean, it's basically Euros. We tend towards Euros. We tend towards economic simulations. We tend towards games where we're a disembodied manager, middle manager, who's responsible for getting goods from point A to point B so they can be converted into goods C so that they can be used at point F or what have you. Yeah. Why is that what we gravitate towards instead of big... I mean, we like adventure games and other types of things too, but why do we gravitate towards Euros, would you say?
I guess because it's satisfying to make something. And you've gone on a journey, you've done this, that, and something else, and you come out with a product at the end.
Okay, so it's the personal sense of satisfaction.
Yeah.
You get more satisfaction from playing a game where you have built something, whether it is a kingdom or a commercial good or or whatever it might be, than you do from rescuing somebody or exploring something. You prefer to build over to explore.
I don't know. I do like exploring a lot, but I think it's easy to get a plan of action if you set up an engine.
Yes.
Essentially, and an engine that works is very satisfying.
Yes.
So.
More than a dungeon that has been thoroughly delved.
Oh, I don't know. That's good too. I don't know. I don't know.
All right. She doesn't know, Jarrett. Not that you asked the question anyway. Emil says, hey, how about the inverse of Bob's questions? What are irrational favorites? Cardboard boxes, which you rave about, but honestly never put on the table. How about all of them? I mean, because that's the nature of the game for us. We never... So what is a game that we say we love, but come on, let's get real. Really. Do you really love it that much, or do you just rave about it?
I don't know. I mean, I would have to say at this point Agricola, because we haven't played Agricola in forever, but we love it. Yeah, I mean,
I would stand by that rave. I mean, we got all those cool little Agricola minis, and we haven't even gotten to play them yet.
I know.
A game that we rave about, but really... Oh, no, well, you said irrational favorites. I mean, that's almost like a guilty pleasures kind of a thing. I don't know, Emil. I don't know. I don't think I have a good answer for you. And moving on to Ken. Ha-ha! Alrighty. How do you handle all the thumbs down on YouTube? It bugs the heck out of me to see them, so I can only imagine how you must feel. Or how do you take it in stride? I just don't understand. And it's not just on Kickstarter videos anymore. Yeah, it sucks. It's depressing. It's... I don't know. Most of them come from probably just two... I have subscribers who subscribe to me and tick the little notification bell so that they get an email when I put a new video up, and then they immediately go, because I see it happen, like within 45 seconds often, within a minute of me making a video live, boom, there's a negative thumb. So I just have haters, and haters are going to hate, I guess. I just have to ignore it. I mean, the joke's on them when it boils right down to it, because it doesn't matter whether I get a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Any engagement from an audience, positive or negative, pushes my videos up in the overall recommendations for YouTube. So they don't realize it, but they're actually helping me when they do that. Because, of course, now, I mean, for the last few months, I've had ads. So the more people watch the videos, the more money we make. It's not much, but, I mean, every time somebody thumbs me down, that's translating into a fraction of a penny that I will someday earn. So... I guess I try to look at it from that perspective, because, yeah, it is depressing. I mean, rampant online negativity is why I left Reddit. It's why I've left the general forums on Board Game Geek. I just can't keep that in my life. It sucks that it pushes its way into YouTube, but at least I have some control over there. I know you're sick of hearing this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Ken's wife is a Care Bear. She makes us look like vicious thugs.
Oh, dear. He's
not kidding. She got upset in Concordia when I built in her territory, quote unquote. And yet she has really enjoyed Side. This is a Side recommendation. We've only played it electronically on Steam, but there's no differences. It's a marvelous action selecting game. There's so many delicious choices. What about Rise of Fenris? Maybe you'll try that? What are the odds? I was definitely down to try the Rise of Fenris expansion until Jamie Stegmaier himself told me via email, you should not try Rise of Fenris. And there's a bit more to it than that. I said, hey, Jamie, it's co-op. I really want to give it a go. And he said, yeah, you totally should. But bear in mind, you should play it without that first. You should definitely play it several times before you play Rise of Fenris. I'm like, but I don't want to. And he said, well, then you probably shouldn't play it. I'm like, okay, so I won't. So Scythe continues to stay off our shelves. And I understand, Ken, that your wife is okay with it. I'm betting, I am guessing that there is a difference between your wife's nature of Care Bearness and ours. I mean, you kind of alluded to it yourself when you said that she kind of puts artificial limitations like, hey, you can't build in my territory. There's no rule about building in territory in Concordia, but, I mean, you've got this kind of meta-level Care Bearness that's working its way in. That doesn't happen with me and Jen. If a game gives us the offer, if a game puts us in a situation where the best thing I can do right now to maximize my chance of winning is to steal her stuff, I will do it. Because we always play to win, and then we will never play that game again, and we will hate it for putting us in that situation where we had to attack each other. It's a rare game where that features direct player conflict where that won't eventually happen. Where, where if for me not to attack you means I am actually playing poorly. I'm actually putting myself at risk for losing because I'm not making the best move. As I understand Scythe, and I have looked into Scythe a lot, I've read the rules, I've watched a ton of videos. Scythe is definitely a game where there will be moments, maybe only a couple of times in a given game that will last you for 2 or 3 hours, but that's still 2 times too many for us, where if I have my mech, I built it for other reasons, but now you have left all that stuff just sitting out there because, oh, we're friendly, we don't attack each other. If I don't take that, I am not playing optimally. I will take it, and then we're like, why are we playing this game if we have to attack each other? So it sounds like you guys don't have that problem if you're willing to say, oh, I won't even go into your territory, because you put the Care Bearness above the rules. We put the rules and playing to win first. So that's the difference between us, and that's why we still don't play Scythe. And that's where I am with Fenris. Jamie himself said not to do it so far. What are my top 10 games of the year, asks Joel. Right, that is easy. I will go to, you can find this out yourself. Go to ranked.rahdo.com. This is a list of every game we've got that we have played and that I have ranked. Now do Control F for 2018 parenthesis and mine. All right, let's do it backwards. Counting down from number 10, the year 2018. Let's see. I've got 32 games to play. Haven't played over half of them. Ah!
Oh.
Ah, no! Go back. Sorry, folks. All right, let's try this again. Control F 2018 parenthesis. All right, let's go the other way. Number 10 thus far. Gizmos.
Oh, that was fun.
Yes, Jen agrees. Is it in your top 10 of the year, Honey Pie?
Apparently it is.
All right, number 9. Fantastic Arrival Realms. We played that before we left Malta. It was that game where you have you're building up rows. You have to put the cards in sequential order, ascending order.
Oh yeah.
And but you're also like spending the cards to travel around from place to place, amongst it.
Oh,
anyway,
dear.
I liked it a lot. Number 8, Castell. That's the building human pyramid thing, human tower. Number 7, Luxor. That's the circling around the drain to get to the center of the pyramid, and you have your guys, and you have the hand of cards.
Oh,
you can play the card on the left or the right, and then you see what's coming next.
Yep.
Luxor is great. That's my number 7. Number 6, I've totally forgotten how to pronounce it. Arhayal, I think it is. That was the Tetris board game. You know, where you take a Tetris piece, you put it at the top, and you have to slide in a position.
Oh, yeah,
but where you draft them is like constantly rotating.
Yep. That was
Arhayal is fantastic. Number 6, Welcome To. We played that with Steve and Betsy. The building a little suburbia thing. Remember, you don't roll dice, but instead there's 3 sets of cards: a pair of cards, a pair of cards, and a pair of cards. One is a number, one is an effect. So the number's 115. You have, all right. Jen doesn't remember it. All right. So there's a strike against Everdell. We just played this the other day. It was the cute forest fantasy game. Number 3, Teotihuacan, City of the Gods. That was with the dice worker placement, the dice you get, and it's the big rondelle, and we're building the pyramid in the center. Number 2, Coimbra. We just played it yesterday.
I kicked your butt.
You kicked my butt totally. And number 1, Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
That was crazy.
That is my current top 10. It is very subject to change. Check back again in December. Let's see here. Evelyn. Related to questions about sorting games on shelves, how often do you reorganize your shelves? Once. I will do it once and then I won't do it. Actually, that's not true. I guess I do sometimes. If a new game comes in and it really feels like, boy, a new Queen game. I'm keeping this Queen game. Okay, well, I got to make room because there's not enough room for all the Queen games there. So one of the Queen games has got to go someplace else so the Queen can, so it happens a little bit, but not that often. And certainly nothing major. Just shuffling around to make... to put something in with a group where it should be. What is my favorite Feld game? I have a top 10 all-time Feld games. It hasn't changed yet. Although 2 new Feld games are coming out this year. Very excited about that. What's your favorite Uwe Rosenberg game? Which I haven't done, but it's Agricola. Honey, do you like Agricola or Gates of Loyang more? Those are Jen's 2 favorites of his.
Them.
You won't pick one?
Nope.
All right. And favorite solo game? I did a top 10 solo games last year. You can go check that out. All my top 10s are going to cover Evelyn. But wait, she's back with more. A personal question. Evelyn wants to hear a ramble about the dogs, honey. What are their personalities like? Do we do any activities with them, like agility or other types of training? Do they know tricks? What are your favorite breeds and why? And if we're also still running, how are we doing? What are our favorite vegetarian homemade dinner recipe? And give dogs an extra cuddle with greetings from Norway.
Okay, well, so
go.
Their personalities. Gert is shy, but just such a love. She just loves to be on you, near you. Yep. Daisy loves everyone, and so she's got a lot more energy. So she's alert and she's looking around and she's always into everything. Do we have any activities with them like agility? No, or other types of training? At this point, we're just trying to get them to come when I call. That's.
But we're not really training them very hard. I mean, you were really Johnny on the spot with Dobby back in the day, I mean, and you did the books, you did the whole 9 yards, you did the
went to classes
the
and
regimented training, you went to classes.
Yeah.
We have not done anything like that since Dobby. Why is that? Why have you not done that since?
Lazy, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Just yeah.
Yep.
Do they
you had more energy when you were younger, you're saying?
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're at a point where everything's fine enough that it's fine.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. At the moment, yeah, it's the coming when called. That's definitely a big thing.
Yeah.
They know some tricks. Yeah, they'll sit, they'll lay down sometimes. I don't know. It's yeah, not high.
But the thing that she's best at, the dogs do not get. The dogs know if they when their food is put on the floor, they don't get it until they go to their blanket and sit and stop obsessing about it.
Yeah.
That they have to. You'll make them sit there for 4 or 5 minutes until they kind of look at you instead of the food, and then that's when they get to go.
Yep. So yeah, I don't want to be mobbed when I'm putting food down. So that is one thing that we do not accept.
Okay.
So yeah.
Favorite breeds?
One thing, beagles. I love beagles. Of course, I love Great Danes. Really would like to have a Great Dane. I like Weimaranders.
So all hounds.
I like houndy dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We were thinking maybe of getting a smaller dog, like a Bichon Frise.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up with more beagles when the round started again. So that's fine. But I think we'll probably end up with the smaller dogs the next time we have a major change of dogage. But we're set for another dozen years or so, I think, with this.
Yep.
This set. Let's see what else.
How's the running going?
We're keeping on with it.
I would say we're nowhere near as good as we should be. We're supposed to do it. I would not say we do it consistently 3 times a week.
Well, no, but we do it at least twice a week, and we're keeping up with it. It would be very easy to just stop.
Yeah, we haven't stopped.
Yeah.
I would say we're probably going every 3 days between. We should be doing it every other day, but we're like going every 2 or 3 days, or every 3 or 4 days, really.
Yeah.
And we're up to 28 minutes nonstop. And the program we've been on, basically the program ends once we're at 30. We could do 30 minutes right now. The only problem is I have bad knees. Both of my knees are, well, I'm weak in the knees basically. So it's weird. I'd never push myself anywhere near as hard as I could because I'm really babying my knees. I mean, I'm not jogging so much as shuffling, but not really lifting my legs very much. Because my right knee, I had to stop biking years ago because of its problems. My left knee, it's weird. For the first 5 minutes, my left knee really starts to give me some grief, but then I guess it warms up. And this is after warming up. But it warms up and it's fine. And then for like the last 5 minutes or so, my right knee starts just getting progressively more and more insistent that I should stop. Oh, excuse me. We take a break. Oh, I really must insist. And by the time we're like, stop! So, but it's getting stronger, so it's going okay.
Yeah, so we're going easy on him.
Yeah. I go easy on myself. I mean, she goes much quicker than me. She doesn't quite lap me, but she could. But it's weird. I mean, she wants to go faster, but her Fitbit says she's supposed to stay in a certain heart zone, which if you go at my weird, shuffly, don't hurt my knees speed, you stay in the zone you're supposed to stay in. And if you go the speed you want to go,
I'm at peak. Peaking out.
Which apparently is a bad thing, I guess. Honey, what's your favorite vegetarian homemade dinner recipe? There is such a thing? What would you not put meat in and you'd still enjoy it?
Probably something to do with sweet potatoes.
Okay. But you don't have one.
Baking some sweet potatoes.
You fundamentally do not have one.
Well, we're not vegetarians, so
yeah.
I don't think I do.
What about the fajitas without chicken?
Well, that's just fried onions and
peppers, I suppose. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, sorry, we can't help you, Evelyn. We love the meat. Alrighty. Cameron. Any idea when the next Rahdo Talks through will be? I am so sorry we are so late. We'll be filming it sometime this week. I'm thinking currently we'll probably do it on Tuesday, so it'll be up on Wednesday. Sorry it's so late. Although, what's going to happen is, it'll probably be Q&A, and it'll be a normal one. The next one probably won't be until the middle of October because that will be a 100% Essen. And so I really try to do that, like 8 or 9 days ahead of Essen. So the one will be coming, and then the next one will be coming in a month, and then there'll be one very quickly after that, getting back to the beginning of the month. So the one in November will be in the first week like it should be. Sorry, it's coming. With the recent, Julian says, with the recent surge in roll-in rights, can we expect more live sessions where we can all play together? Yes, actually, I was thinking about doing that for this session, but as we spoke earlier, we're tired and lazy. But yeah, definitely we'll probably be doing one with Railroad Inc. I think that one will work great, because we owe you a couple. I think we owe you still 2 live playthroughs, maybe 3. I have to go look it up, from last year. So Railroad Inc. will definitely be happening before Essen. That one I'm sure of, and maybe, I'm not sure if the other ones will work as well. The ones where everybody can do all the same stuff at the same time, those are just such no-brainers. As they come available, I will be trying to work those onto the schedule. Julian also wonders, now that we're in the U.S., maybe able to find other board gamers more easily in Malta. Do you expect to change the way you run Rahdo Runs Through or choose games to review? No, not really. It's still going to be 2-player focused, because it's still just going to be 99.9% of all gaming. It's just going to be us. I mean, in all honesty, I don't know, maybe we're going to play less multiplayer, because when we were in Malta, there were so many folks who were on vacation who wanted to come and visit us, and we were like, you know, at least every couple of months we would end up playing higher player counts because people were coming and visiting.
And sometimes several times during a month.
Exactly. And Jen has decided she doesn't want that to happen anymore, which is why we've been very, I mean, everybody knew exactly where we were in Malta because I did that video from the top of our roof showing, hey, look, here's Swaney Bay. There's the building we live in. You can come and find us very easily. It's not hard at all. We are being a bit, you know, it's when I filmed the Ramble 2 months ago, or no, last month, which was the walkthrough of this house, which I assume you guys have all seen. I actually filmed the first one, and Jen said, no, you're not showing that. It shows too much of the neighborhood, but I'll blur out the license plates and I know how to do that, and the, you know, the street numbers. Nope, too much. People can figure it out, and they're like, no, they can't figure it out. But so Jen had to film it as the camerawoman to make sure that it met her strict standards of privacy management.
Well, there's just we're living with his mom now, and
yeah.
We just need to be a little bit more private.
Yep. So I don't know if it's going to change. If we start getting a lot, since Jen doesn't want to have people over like we did in Malta, because we were just, you know, being nice. Although it was nice to meet people and all that, but it just wasn't kind of our natural predilection. If that starts happening a lot, hey, we're in Portland, can we play a game with you? What we decided we'll probably do, if that starts coming up, we'll probably try to pick some local game group, because there's plenty of them in Portland and Vancouver and the area all around where we are, and we'll probably pick a game group and say, no, but tell you what, if you're here on this Tuesday night, we'll meet you at this game group. And so we might start going to a game group intermittently to fulfill that need. Maybe, if it comes up, but we haven't seen yet. Julian once again wonders, why are all the themeless roll and writes more acceptable than for other game mechanisms? No one would really be interested in a totally themeless worker placement or deck builder. Meanwhile, Gone Shown Clever and Nochmal get great reviews. That's a very good point. Honey Pie. Remember Gone Shown Clever?
Nope.
It was a roll and write. We played it at Steve and Betsy's. Oh, how to describe it? It had no theme. There was no story to it whatsoever. It was just like, oh, you try to collect the purple dice, you try to collect the green dice, and all the dice had different functions. If I showed it to you, you'd remember it.
I'm sure I would.
But it had no theme.
Okay.
We played that on the same day that we played, well, you also don't remember Welcome To, which was another roll and write where we were building little suburbs. Too much has happened between now and then. Jen can barely remember. But one was themeless, one was themed. I'm trying to get you to have some kind, but you don't remember them, so you have nothing to say on this topic, do you?
I'm sorry.
That's fine. Here's my guess, Julian. Yahtzee. Yahtzee has created, since all roll and writes are basically born of Yahtzee, and everybody's played Yahtzee in their childhood, you know, give or take, but generally speaking, I think maybe there's just a more willing acceptance of a purely abstract roll and write. You know, the first worker placements were Kalis and Bus. Those were themed. And, and a worker placement game is implicitly thematic because well, I know it doesn't have to be. You could have a 100% completely themeless worker placement game. You totally could. And it would just be so weird. I don't know. I think it's weird not to have theme in roll and writes, and I don't like it. That's why we didn't keep Gone Shown Clever, or we didn't get it. What, Hank?
Nothing.
Oh, so my best guess is because Yahtzee established a precedent that everybody's experienced, and so that's why it's a bit more acceptable there. Natalie says, we'll get to the live questions soon, folks. We're almost done.
Well,
oh my gosh.
People might be sending them through Patreon because we're getting...
No, these are new ones. I mean...
yeah, I know, I'm saying...
This is the last one that came in yesterday, and 4 new ones have come in now.
Okay.
All right, but anyway. Essenspiel is coming up. I guess you are correct, Natalie. You're probably not attending Essen this year.
Yeah.
What will we miss the most about Essen?
Oh, I just think it's so nice to. I love it when people come up and tell me how much they love my work. I mean, that's great. Yeah. That's lovely.
Jen is very recognition driven. I mean, would you go as far as to say you care more about that than actually selling the stuff?
Well, I think the ultimate compliment is when somebody buys. Mm-hmm. So I guess it goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Okay. I've always said that I get a year's worth of game at Essen. How will I get my games from now on? Well, they'll mail them to me, I guess. And if they don't, then I'll have more old games to film. If they stop sending me new games, hey, we can actually play some games we love for a change. So we'll see how that goes. I expect it to be less of a burden for publishers to send review copies to me now that I'm in America, when it boils right down to it. So I mean, if anything, we're actually saving money by not going to Essen. Not only do we not have to travel, but we don't have to ship all those games back home. If the publishers actually just send them to us, hey, we've saved a sizable amount of money. You can ask Tom Vassell how much he spends on, or Aldi from Board Game Geek, how much they spend on shipping all that stuff back home. It was one thing to ship it from Germany to Malta. To ship it all the way back to America would be significantly more expensive. So we'll see how it goes. I see.
I mean, we've gone for the last, is it 5 years?
Something like that, 4 or 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was absolutely crucial. But things will adapt. Honey Pie, how much of your business, your yearly business, is it Spiel?
Quite a good chunk, to be honest, yeah.
So you're going to take a big hit there.
I think so. But on the other hand, we did do UK Games Expo, so before we left the UK, and that helped. That helped a lot. So
that's true, yeah.
But, I mean...
And you're going to do the Dice Tower West. We'll see how that goes.
Yep.
Although I don't think that's going to do near as well for you, because I don't think people go to that expecting to buy. People go to that convention to play games.
Yeah.
Unlike UK Games Expo or Essen or Gen Con. I mean, I think the big question for Jen is she going to do Gen Con next year? Because I would imagine you'd probably do almost as well, if maybe even better, at Essen than you would, or at Gen Con than you would at Essen. It's from your perspective, it's just as big. I don't know who's more willing to pay money for glass in person, Americans or Europeans.
I don't know.
So I mean, I would not be surprised if we end up going to Gen Con next year and Jen tries that instead of Essen, and maybe depending on how well that does, if that doesn't go as well, maybe you'll do Essen next year.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I'm open to doing that next year. We need a break.
This is literally the most we've talked about it just now. All right, so I see 4 new questions have come in to the Patreon page, but it is time to come over to the live feed and start looking for some questions over here, see if any have come in, because we've finally caught up with the questions from before this, and we're at an hour already. Alrighty, let's look for questions. News on the Project Elite Kickstarter. No. Sorry, Mentat 1231, if that is your real name. All I knew was I had been told ahead of time by the guys at Artipia, because they knew how much I love the game, and they were just so excited. When they're talking to me about the other games they want me to film, like Thief's Fortune and stuff like that, they just feel like, oh, and they're just going so well, it's so exciting. And we're like, can I talk about it? No, you can't talk about it. Okay, I won't talk about it. But I haven't heard anything for a while. So I don't know anything more than you do now that it's all public information. Sin Trader's name is Jared, by the way. Oh, it must have been the Jared of earlier. Yes. Alrighty. Sent you a question on Patreon. Yes, you did. And I think we totally failed to answer your question. Sorry about that, Jared. What is the game on the table currently? This is Stygian Society. Whoop. Let's see. I need to get to the other camera to see if you actually can see it. It's a cube tower. Oh, yeah, Jen and I, we played it the other day. Really enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yep.
You're a hero, and you have a bunch of different things that let you throw cubes in the tower, and every time you throw cubes in the tower, you have to throw bad guy cubes in the tower, and they all come out. And some of them get stuck in the tower, some of them come out. Sometimes they will bounce off this little springboard and go into the crypt, at which point they're double. Yeah, we played it the other day. Really enjoyed it. Had some problems with it. Talked to the developer about it. I'll be doing a rundown for it later today, probably. If not tomorrow, depending on how long this goes. But anyway, yes. Stygian Tower. There's a Stygian Society. Oh, it's good stuff.
Do you want to show the box?
Oh, sure. Here's the prototype box. Alrighty. Next up. Back to the live feed. Curious if you're aware about the Game Salute issues. Saw something on Twitter about it. I am aware that there are people who are unhappy with Game Salute because that is not surprising because there are people who just make it their mission in life to become online vigilantes and track down the wrongdoers and try to, make them right. I know there are people who have not gotten their games in timely fashion. I also know that 95% of people who back Game Salute games do get their games just fine, and it's only a small percentage of the people who don't because of mismanagement or whatever, and that's a real problem, and I feel bad for them, and I don't understand why they get so angry, because it's just some stupid cardboard. It's not that big a deal. Give it time, it will eventually arrive. Don't let your life be ruled by anger and negativity. Don't assume that people are evil. Always go with Hanlon's razor. Assume incompetence over ill intent, and give them a chance. If you're a Christian, try to be Christian in your attitude and forgiving and accepting of them. If you're an atheist like me, still, the golden rule is a pretty good one. I'm sorry, was that you saying get off my high horse? I used to go to war with online haters of game publishers who have made mistakes, who have had problems with their supply chain logistics and stuff like that, who have maybe not been the best at customer service. Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, nobody gets into the board game industry to try to rip people off. They get into the board game industry because they're geeks and they're passionate, and it's so easy for some people to forget that, and it drives me nuts. But Jen just tried to get me to calm down, so I'm going to calm down. Alrighty. Have you found a local gaming group yet? No,
can I just say
yes,
something
yes,
like
Any5. Yes.
I would just like to say, I mean, our personal experience just now with moving and everything, I mean,
Yes.
people have ordered things from me, and
Oh my
some
God.
of them back in March, and I'm just getting to them, and it's, the best intentions, but,
Yes.
stuff didn't show up, or stuff from Malta didn't show up until, 3 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Then
Because
my Oxycons didn't work with the power in America, so I had to buy a new Oxycon. It was supposed to arrive on a Saturday, didn't arrive until the Wednesday following. I mean, there's just crap that happens.
Yeah, so for folks who want to organize boycotts of Game Salute, by all means, organize a boycott of Jennifer Ham Glass, too. Because she has also made mistakes. And she is also doing her best. And sometimes it goes smoothly, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Try to walk a mile in the other person's shoes, is what I say. And please, actually, don't boycott Jen.
Don't boycott me. It wasn't I made mistakes, but yes, life happens and things don't always go as smoothly as you might hope.
Yeah.
So I just
right. Stacy also wonders, Essen and or Sasquatch. We talked about Essen. I am definitely, if I get an invite to Sasquatch, I will probably go. That's a little, I think it's like a 2-day little invite only.
Seattle-y?
Yes, in Seattle.
Okay.
A little convention where they bring back all the hot games from Essen and they play them for 2 days straight. So
ooh, that would be very efficient.
Yes, that could be. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, that would be a great way to answer whoever asked earlier, well, what happens if you don't get all those games back? Well, I could go to Sasquatch and I could play them all really quick and just do rundowns. Maybe. Have we ever tried geocaching?
Oh, we love geocaching.
Yes. Although we haven't for a few years now.
Jarrett asked that.
Yeah, Jarrett was back.
All
Sim
right.
Trader. Yes.
Yeah, I love it. In fact, I did a huge thing for your birthday one year. What was it? God, was it your 30th?
It was my 35th birthday.
35th. Yeah, so we love it. Love it.
Yep. Let's see. I'm really interested in seeing your game room collection since the move. Will you be doing... I'll be doing an upgraded collection video in January or February like I do every year. There will be a lot more off. Yeah. I mean, there'll be a lot cut down. I mean, Natalie, I mean, if you're here, you're a backer, so you should have already seen last month's Ramble, which was the walk around. Although I didn't spend much time looking at the games. But yeah, I'll do one in January, February, like I do every year.
Yeah, he's got so much still to unpack.
Oh yeah, I mean, literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full moving box, 7 over there.
Yeah. And
completely full of
room.
games. Yeah. No, I think I've moved them all. No, I think you're right. Actually, there are a couple out there as well. Righty. Jen, new permanent design for this year?
Ornament.
New ornament design?
I don't know. Let me think about it. I don't know. I'm sorry, Stacy. I would love to say I've got one cooking, but I'm cooking some other things right now in the old noggin. So I don't know for ornaments. Sorry, I will think about it.
All right. Let's see here. A thumbs down is a misunderstood thumb down for the game, not the review. Yes, I mean, obviously sometimes the thumbs downs I get are about the game and, whatever. I mean, I just remind myself There's no such thing as bad publicity. Every thumb down somebody gets me pushes me higher up. Every time somebody posts to call me a bleeping bleep bleep, that literally pushes me up and actually helps me. Again, I'm not recommending anybody do that. Please don't. But, you know, the trolls, the haters, they don't realize they're actually helping. Let's see here. Okay. Honey, Leva just showed up.
Hi, Leva.
Alrighty. Where are they doing quite right? So... Oh, okay, so somebody posted that, hey, they can do questions. You see questions here or the patron post. We'll get back to the ones that have been posted in the patron. Let's see. Righty. Okay. Patreon. Oh, that's right, yeah. Yeah, leave us. Some folks are not actually backing on Patreon because at the time, the first month we did Patreon, for people who did not want to sign up for the monthly thing, they could sign up for, they could just do a year, like I'd done in the past.
A single
yeah, it was a PayPal pool. So some folks do not get the Patreon updates, and instead, every time I do a Patreon update, I have to do a separate one via MailChimp to go to folks like Leva and whatnot. So, Leva, you should have gotten the, well, anyway, you're here now. Favorite vacation spot ever, Honey Pie, says Leva.
Oh, I'm going to say Cozumel. Loved it. The scuba diving in Cozumel is absolutely amazing. It's drift diving. You see all sorts of beautiful colors and sea life and corals and stuff, and it's effortless because you just get taken along on the drift of the current, and the boat also is drifting along the same. So when you're done with your dive, you just surface. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty tough to beat. I'll go with that too.
Okay.
Alrighty, and now we're caught up on the live. Let's see, and we have a few more on the Patreon. Have you tried game mats before? Yes, I did a run through of a game mat a couple of years ago. It was Quiver, and I thought it was very, very nice. I liked it a lot. But they had sent me a prototype that was made with a different kind of rubber, so it was really stinky.
Are you sure the Quiver? I thought the Quiver were those...
No, yes, there were two. I've done run-throughs for two different products that had the brand name Quiver.
Oh, okay.
Oddly, even though they were completely different companies.
Okay.
I think. So I did a run-through. I really liked it a lot. I would have kept it, but Jen hated the stink because it was a prototype. And I am actually talking with somebody who is planning on an upcoming Kickstarter run for a new type of gamer map. And if that goes well, I'll probably be getting one of those, and you'll be seeing this blackness get replaced with a custom one, so I can do the run-through for that. So fingers crossed that all comes together, because that would be very, very, very cool. Because this is a great table that we got for $50 used, but it creates so much glare, it causes me no end of grief. So I'm really looking forward to something like that. Carrie also says, have we been to Blue Highway Games or Card Kingdom in Seattle? They are awesome. Will you be making appearances in Seattle or the area? Would love to meet you guys. I have a whole history with Blue Highway Games. Go watch my top 10, the top 10 I did called my first 10 games. Do Rahdo first 10 games search on YouTube and you'll find it. And you will find out just how important Blue Highway Games is to me and Jen. Although we have not been there since.
I've never been.
Jen's never been. I have not been. Haven't been to Card Kingdom at all. I think the only places I've been to, I remember we went to Card House once years ago up in Linwood, I think.
We've been to Guardian Games.
Well, yeah, but that's
in Portland.
Yeah. So maybe someday we'll be getting up there, but we live down here now. But we'll see. We'll see. I would love to meet you too. Andrew says, "Oh, it's Andrew from. Hey, Andrew. Alrighty.
Hi, Andrew.
Yeah, he bought several of my games.
I know.
Alrighty, it's 10 p.m. there all this time. Are you finding life in the U.S. compared to your years spent in Malta? Are you getting any gray days? Or is it's actually been sunny almost the whole time we've been here.
Yeah, it's been a very dry summer.
But I'm sure we'll be getting more and more of those as the time goes on. But yes, it started raining. It's starting to get a little gray now, but it's still been pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
So it's all been good. I'm looking forward to the long, never-ending gray shadow that will fall over us. Because I don't have a problem with it, but we'll see how well Jen handles it. Kevin says, do you have a must-have snack when you sit down for a long game? He goes for kids' Cheez-Its and Goldfish with a sody. We don't really snack that much. Occasionally, you'll get a bowl of pistachios out.
Yeah, or a little bit of chocolate.
Or, yeah, some dark chocolate. Dark chocolate bar will have a few pieces of that, but that's about it. But I don't think we snack very much at all, really.
No, mainly because we don't like to get too much food on our gamey stuff.
Is that why?
I guess. Or, because it's not at meal times either.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if... Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Is that it?
Let's see.
Have we answered all the cues?
I think we might be all A'd up. Let's see. That's no more emails. Nothing
bye,
else.
Leva.
Oh, bye, Leva!
She's gone. She's gone.
Oh, man. I switched away. Alrighty.
Gambling.
But, don't have to...
Gambling bets as...
Need to head out. Bye-bye. Should take a deep cut studio mats. I love them.
Look at Emil has said something.
Who? Huh? Emil. Gambling bets as unthemed worker placement. Oh, I don't know why I skipped that. Because he was surrounded by all the Leva stuff, and she just grabs you with her big...
She's an admin, so
yes.
she skipped the tool.
Gambling bets as unthemed worker placement. Placing tokens on cards, numbers, and such. Quite a stretch, but possibly something in that direction. I'm sure Emil is following up on that earlier question about what about a themeless worker placement. Oh, sure, you could totally do it. I mean, you could take the theme out of Agricola if you wanted, but why would you? It would make it weaker, not stronger. Hey, honey, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. I think we're all caught up. So, folks, thank you. This actually worked out pretty well. I was kind of afraid we weren't going to get much because, the viewership is nowhere near as high. But thank you for all the pre-questions. They were excellent, and thanks for showing up. You brave. Looks like we topped out at around 30. Thanks for being here with us, and thanks to anybody who's watching this later on down the road because you couldn't make it here live. It was good seeing you all.
Isn't it 88?
I'm not. No, that's playbacks. I'm not sure what that means. Huh. But the highest we've been. I'm not sure if this is the high or this is the current. I mean, I could hit this. What are these playbacks? Now Jen wants to know. It's the total number of times the video has loaded, which includes page refreshes or camera angle changes. This number does not increase when a viewer switches resolutions. So it's people going away or coming back or hitting refresh because it stopped or something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, there we are. We're all done.
Yay!
And no more questions to come in. So, I think we are going to find the big red button and say thanks for watching, everybody. Yeah. I'm going to take a break now because my throat's a little sore, and then I will be filming some videos this afternoon for you guys to see tonight or tomorrow. Actually, there's a whole bunch of Kickstarters starting on Tuesday. I got to get those things filmed ASAP. Oh, but I haven't done that. Oh my gosh, I'm scared. So much to do in so little time. You have any closing words, Honey Pie?
Thank you all for your support. We do appreciate it.
All right. That's a good way to end it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Talk to you later. So long.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.